Hello students, today we will start the second part of the chapter birth. Okay, first part we have already done. In the first part we have already discussed that Joe Morgan and his wife Suzanne Morgan, they were expecting their first child after 20 years of marriage, and Dr. Andrew was there, okay, to take care of Suzanne Morgan. When he went there to Joe Morgan's house, Joe Morgan stayed there outside and he entered in. He found a midwife and Suzanne Morgan's mother there, okay, and as there was time, so he was offered tea. He waited there down near the kitchen fire. This is what we have studied because there was still time left, okay, for the delivery of that child. Now the next point, the child born lifeless. Now at last what happened, the nurse voice was heard calling from the top landing, okay. Andrew, he looked at the clock. It now showed 3:30 and he rose and went up to the bedroom. He saw that he could now begin his work, okay. So an hour passed. It was long hard struggle. Then as the first rays of the dawn appeared, the child was born, but it was lifeless. Next point, Andrew's dilemma. Dr. Andrew's dilemma, a confusion. So Andrew was horrified to see the stillborn child, still motionless. Okay, his face got chilled up very suddenly. There were two options now. Okay, whether to attend the child or to save the mother, who too was in critical state. Now, blindly he gave the child to the nurse and he turned his attention to Suzanne Morgan. Now she lay there collapsed, almost pulseless, okay, and she was still under the effect of ether that was provided to her, that was given to her, injected to her. So he gave an injection and worked feverishly, okay, until her heart strengthened. He later on realized that she was safe and now he could leave her. The next point, efforts to revive the child. Now, swinging around to the nurse, he asked for the child, okay, because he had already handed the child to her. The midwife made a frightened gesture. She had placed the child under the bed. Now, in a flash, Andrew knelt down, fishing for the child, okay, in sodden newspaper below the bed. He pulled out the child. When Andrew looked at that child, okay, he at once knew that it was a case of apraxia, okay, that is unconsciousness due to lack of oxygen, okay, apraxia, or you can even say the correct spelling is asphyxia. Instantly he was on his feet. He took a blanket and laid the child upon it. He asked for hot water and cold water and two basins. Then he began his special method of respiration. He then laid down the child into the icy cold water and then into the steaming hot water like a juggler. 15 minutes passed. His breath was coming pantingly, but no breath came from the body of the child. Okay. Next point, a sense of defeat. Now, a terrible sense of defeat came on Dr. Andrew's face. Having labored for about half an hour in vain, he still made one last effort. He rubbed the child with a rough towel. He pressed and released the little chest with both his hands. Okay. Thus, he tried to get breath into the limp body, a died body. Okay. While all the time the midwife was watching him in astonishment, and the old woman, she stood there leaning back against the wall. The last point, the child revived. Now, and then what happened? A miracle happened. The little chest gave a short heave, and the chest started gasping. Okay, the skin started changing color, and then came the child's cry. Andrew handed the child to the nurse. He dazed. Okay, he left the house thinking he had done something real at last. So this is your chapter.